Okay, here's another video on neutralizing a Drake 4 Series radio. I finally did neutralize this thing, and one of the problems it had was the final tubes in shipment had risen out of their socket about 3 millimeters, and that might have caused capacitance. The top plate of the tubes was almost contacting the top cover, and that would have caused a big short. Anyway, I pushed the tubes back down, but what else I did was on 10 meters here, so we're set on 10 meters, and resonating on 10, I basically, with a small amount of power here, not much, I can show you the power I used here. Yeah, not much power. I'm turning the wrong knob here. Here we go. Okay, so with about that much plate current, I dipped it, and then I used the screwdriver, which I don't like doing. I put the screwdriver on this trimmer here when I had the radio live. So the radio was running, it was transmitting, and I tuned that for max output when the plate was dipped. And that was the fastest way to do this, instead of turning the radio off and on, off and on, off and on. And now what I find is when I dip the plate here, meter goes down and up a little bit here, I'm pretty much at the max power. So the max power is about there. And that's pretty much the dip. Let's give it some more drive here. Okay, there's a lot more drive. And yeah, we got some power out in 10 now, so increase the load. Decrease the load. Let's give it some drive. Yeah, there's 100 watts on 10 easily, and the meter's pinned, but well, she'll do 100 watts on 10. All right, so that was how to do it. Simply on 10 meters, go for a dip, and then dip your plate as much as you can on low power with not much drive, and very carefully turn the neutralization screw until you get max power out on the meter with 50 ohm load, and you're good to go. So that's how I did it. Happy about that. So now, do we have the same condition on other bands? So let's now go to 15 meters here, and go to 15, and let's try it on 15, see if we're neutralized. Okay, let's run some power through this thing now. I'm going to tune mode and peak it for some power here. Oh, there's a lot. Let's do a dip. I can't dip it. Take the load down. A little more power, go for a dip. Okay, small dip. Doesn't look symmetrical entirely, but it does, for the most part, obey that when I dip, I get power out. So yeah, I'm jolly happy about that. So that's pretty damn good. Let's give this thing some power now. Okay, and let's load it a bit. Dip it. Not getting much more out. Let's give it some real juice here. Nope, didn't get much out that way. I'm trying for max power now without blowing the world up here. So I might get about 60 watts out, which is not so good. Did I drive it enough? This is 15 meters, so let's give it some more juice here. Plate's kind of suffering along there. Let's take our loading down a good bit. Okay, I'm kind of unloading it now. Let's give it some more drive and dip it. Less drive. Not doing too good in 15 here. A little more. Okay, a little more load coming up. A little more load. I don't really reckon these tubes. Okay, give it a rest. Go to some neural gain now and drive, and give it a little toot and see what you got here. 15 meters, we got about 90, and I'm not going to stress it out any more than that. It looks pretty good. lower the power down and check it for symmetry here. You want to see the dip in the power. When it dips, you want to see power out. Okay, too much power. There we go. Let's look for a dip and look at the power out. Let's see what we got here. So, dip. Little dip there. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's maybe off by a hair, but it's pretty darn good. Okay. Let's turn this off from tune and go down to 20 meters. There's 20, go to 20. And I think 20 wants a little load. Let's go down and load. A little more drive. Let's tune it. Let's see. Now we're in tune. Got some drive. Peak it. Let's dip it. Okay. I'm getting some power out here on 20. Give it some more loading. Okay, not much. Okay, let's give it a full whack of drive here. Give it a quick little burst. And on 20 we get 50 watts. Let's try and peak it for a second. Okay. Decrease the load. Nope. Let's increase the load. Okay, now we're kind of coming along. There's about 80 watts. These finals might be a bit tired, I'm not sure. Okay, let's go to 40 meters now. 40 meters. There we are. Let's go to tune mode. There we go. Let's peak it. There it is, dip it. Okay, there's 40 and it's not too symmetrical. It's not the worst in the world, but the peak's about there. And because the higher bands are working, I don't want to futz with it too much. Because you can ruin the higher band settings on like 15, 20, and 10. Okay, so give it some more power here. And try it out. Oh yeah, so we're at 100 watts on 40. I'll take that 100 watt CW, that's fine. The plate current's high, but let's dip the plate. Can't dip it. Too much gain. Okay. So what's reasonable here? I guess that's reasonable. We can take that. All right. Finally, 80 meters. That does not take much load. Take the load down. I'll take it down all the way. 80 on the pre-selector, and let's give it a shot. There's our power. Let's go for a peak here. And we'll peak it. Go for a sharp peak. There it is. Wow, it's really sharp. Take the power down. There's a peak. Let's do it for a dip. Okay, there's a dip. I'm sorry, I'm not showing this camera very well. Little dip there, a little bit of power out on 80 meters here. Let's give it some more drive. There's some more drive. Let's dip it. Okay, so it's 80 symmetrical. There's a dip right there. And it is. So this thing's basically now neutralized, pretty damn close. I'm not going to futz with it anymore. So a little more load on 80. Okay, a little less load. 80 doesn't like a little load. And turn it off. Let's go for a major power boost here and give it a quick little whack. On 80 we can get 100 watts. All right, so that concludes the the neutralization lesson on this Drake 4 series T4X. And okay, so what I would do with this thing is if you want to neutralize it, I would start at 10 meters. Go to 10 meters there, peak this thing up to 10, go for a peak in the meter, take your load to maybe a 2 or something, dip it, dip your plate, and then once the plate's dipped, watch the power meter. Very carefully use a safe insulated screwdriver, which is over here. Use something like this, and only something like this. Nothing else. This is for electricians. This is rated for 1,000 volts. So you want to use something very, very safe. Made in Germany. Anyway, somewhere it says the voltage on it, but you want to get something that fits in this little screw here. And mind you, if you short this terminal to the case, it will have a huge spark and you'll blow your power supply. If you short to this, I don't know, man, heaven help you. It'll also make a big spark and probably burn out whatever goes down through here. So you can't touch this to anything when you're tweaking this, and you can also be killed. This is 350 volts. The other side of this is 750 volts. If this capacitor shorts, it blows the power supply out. It can also kill you. This capacitor could short if the fins are bent. This happened to me once. The power supply blew out. Okay, well, that's about it. This little radio is looking pretty good now. It can go back to Carl, the owner, who bought it, and hopefully he'll use it in a happy, happy way. I want to put the LED bulbs in this little guy, so I did order some new LEDs for this thing because I ran out. So I'm kind of getting out of the Drake fixing business now, but as a favor to Carl, I'm getting this radio ready for him. So anyway, I did order new LEDs because these aren't correct. I bought these for a TR7 and they're 12 volts. So get an LED in there, get one in there. This filter paper has the correct Drake color. This one I'm not sure about yet. And what else? I cleaned this radio up inside very nicely, cleaned everything, so it looks like a showpiece, pretty close. So I'm happy with it. I think Carl will like it too. Okay, yeah, so here's what happened. I think when this radio was shipped to me by Carl, these two final tubes had walked out of their sockets, and they were extremely close to this cover. So I took the cover off tonight and inspected the tubes and found they were high in their sockets. But when this radio goes back to Carl, I'm going to have him just use something to push those down first. Push them down with a little toothpick or a rod or something, make sure they're seated before he fires this radio up. And because UPS ground probably shakes the hell out of this thing. So that's about it. This is about ready to go back to its owner, thank goodness. And I guess I could check it for SSB transmission. We have a lightning storm coming here. We have monsoons coming, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Again, this is Carl's T4X, which I've been working on, and it's looking pretty spiffy. So I'll get it back to Carl here soon, and he can give it a twirl. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.